Welcome to what the papers are saying. Thank you for joining us for another edition. I'm Vivian Lokko. When we come back, we'll take you through the big stories that made headlines. Stay with us. Welcome. So, what stories made headlines this week? Let me take you through the stories. We'll start with the Ablekuma rerun, Ablekuma North rerun, and start with the Daily Guide and see how they captured that story. They say NDC wins Ablekuma North amid mayhem. The Ghanaian Times, Ablekuma North rerun violence will flash out perpetrators, Interior Minister. The Informer, Go Say No More, NPP pardons Secure Afriye. Channel 1 News, biggest joke of the day, Anna Bisu mocks minorities call for her dismissal. We move away from that story and we go to the rolling out of the 1 cedi fuel levy. Let's see how that was captured. The Chronicle says fuel prices shoot up as Drumsol levy kicks in. Graphic Online, GRA implements fuel levy increases today as government deepens austerity measures. And City Newsroom, scrap harmful 1 cedi fuel levy now, upon Nkrumah to government. We'll move away from that and some developments around illegal mining. Some government officials named in some issues around illegal mining. We'll go with the custodian. They say NDC guru soldiers cited in alleged Galamsey deals. The Informer says Spanish political Galamsey kingpins coalition tells government. Daily Guide, top NDC officials, military officers fingered in illegal Galamsey tax force. Graphic Online, Defense Minister rewards soldier who rejected Galamsey bribe. And finally, on City Newsroom, Ford feared dead, 20 trapped in Galamsey pit collapse at Achim Wenchi. We'll move away from that, and government early this week announced the cancellation of fuel allowances for all political appointees. How was that captured? The new publisher says, buy your own fuel. Mahama orders all ministers and appointees. The Daily Guide says Mahama scraps allowance for appointees. The Chronicle says no more free fuel for appointees. President Mahama's new austerity move. And then My Joy Online, Shamima Muslim applauds scrapping of fuel allowances for political appointees. We wrap up with the conflict in Boku and see the latest to that story. We'll take you to Graphic Online. They say Boku conflict, Kusasi MPs accuse soldiers of killing 6, burning Zugran statue. And then My Joy Online, government will restore Boku Naba statue. Defense Minister Omani Buama speaking over there. So those are some of the big stories for the week. When I come back, I'll introduce my guest and we'll start discussions. Stay with us.
I run because it keeps me fit and gorgeous.
Register now for the ABSA Black Star Marathon, because your story matters.
Drowning in deadlines, data running wild. Let's fix this together. Join the evolution. Join the sharpest minds in HR at the HR Connect Conference 2025 on August 8 at the Marvin Peak Hotel, Accra, under the theme Empowering HR Excellence, Leveraging Data, Resilience, and Wellness for a Thriving Workplace. It's not just another conference. It's strategy, tech, wellness, and a few smart laughs too. Panels, keynotes, real talk, and real solutions. Let's lead, connect, and transform the way we work. For further inquiries and bookings, please call on 0541 222 365 to secure your seat. HR Connect Conference 2025. Lead, connect, transform.
Welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. I'm Vivian Lokko. Thank you so much for making time to join us for today's edition. Who are in the studio with me tonight? I have Selim Adono here with us at Channel 1 TV as well as City 97.3 FM. Selim, welcome.
Thank you, Vivian.
I also have Sami Wiafi also here with us at Channel 1 TV as well as City 97.3 FM. Sami, welcome. Right, gentlemen, we'll go straight to elections and look at the issues that came up following the Ablekuma North rerun. 19 polling stations were to be rerun. We've seen the outcome. The NDC have the seat at the end of the day, but it came with a lot of troubling developments. We saw the attack of a former minister, also the parliamentary candidate herself, as well as for the MPP, as well as some officials, executives of the MPP. Let me give you a quick sound bite around that, and then we'll start the discussion. We've had the minority speaking to the issue, asking for the dismissal of an Abisu, among others, over comments they made following the development. So let's start with the minority on that matter.
The Minority Caucus demands the following actions: the immediate dismissal of violence-endorsing officials. President Mahama must immediately dismiss Dr. Hannah Louise Abisu from her position as CEO of the Minerals Development Fund and Malik Basintale from his role as acting CEO of the Youth Employment Agency. Their celebration and justification of violence against opposition figures disqualifies them from holding any public office. President Mahama must publicly condemn the Ablekuma North violence and personally apologize to Honorable Mavis Hawakumsun, Nanekwe Friye, and all the victims of the violent attacks. His statement must be unequivocal and without any qualification or justification for the violence.
We've also had some members of the other side also reacting to those statements. Let's take Felix Kwachi, also making some statements around the incident and other matters arising from that election.
Mr. Speaker, a party that endorsed violence during elections cannot come today and call for investigations into acts of violence. It is those of us who condemned it in the past and are condemning it today who have the right to make such a call. Their officials are on record to have vowed that there will be violence at Akwetia. Even as they call for action to be taken, they are threatening violence. Indeed, we all recall that it was in 2012 that then candidate Akufo-Addo openly praised the use of violence as a political tool when he said, Mr. Speaker, the same Nana Akufo-Addo is on record to have said, all die be die. Let not those who in the recent past were sponsoring these acts of terrorism against opponents suddenly pretend that they are against it. They are not, Mr. Speaker.
So that's the Minister in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachi, speaking. And on the matter to do with some mayhem recorded at the Ablekuma North elections rerun. Selim, let me start with you. You think that the violence we saw, we were live covering that election on the Friday, at least you see some condemnation and a move to arrest people who were involved, and then we move on as a nation.
Well, yes, that's the thing to be. That's the rational thing to expect. But as we have come to know, things are not as simple as they are, and it's unfortunately so. The matters of Ablekuma North, as I looked at this and analyzed them, I realized that there's some deep-seated bitterness and hatred, of political opponents, mainly between the NDC and the MPP. So there are targets. They target you. They know that we'll get to here. When we get to here, we will deal with you. And let's not kid ourselves. Both parties went into that election prepared for a thing like this. Perhaps at some point, one side overpowered the other, or one side appears stronger and more resourced than the other. So once the guys they are area people. They are people who come from places. Sometimes they know themselves. So once they know that these guys are stronger or more than us, there's no point in fighting. They will run away and leave you, the subject there. You have to deal with it yourself. In any case, you have given them the money or whatever already. But it's a sad thing, and it is something we must all condemn. What happened in Ablekuma North was sad. It was despicable. It was bad. It shouldn't have happened. And if we pride ourselves as, a beacon of democracy, that should never come anywhere close to us. But was I surprised? No, I wasn't surprised, because every by-election or election rerun, mind you, there was a similar thing previously in Akutia when Baba Jamal was running. We saw violence there. We saw violence we've seen violence in almost all by-elections. Tereponi, Talensi, Etiwa. We've seen, and what's the name? Ayawaso. We've seen violence in all those areas. So one would be naive to say that they didn't expect to see any form of violence. I would have been shocked if there was nothing like this, because I knew the political parties were sharpening their tools. The MPP perhaps will want to show that even though we are a minority, we are a mighty minority, and that mighty minority mindset is not only in Parliament, it's across the board, in the MPP political spectrum. The NDC too will want to show that, yes, we are in power. You have done this in the past. We are in power. We must show you that you are no longer in power. So we are in power. So that was the unstated mindset for a lot of the people going into the election. So on both sides, they had an axe to grind, and we saw what happened. Beyond the things we saw on TV, there were conversations and there were threats and there were talks by people. So we are here, let them come, or we will show them, we will go and meet them here. Those things were happening. So every now and then, you saw people mobilizing to do things. It's unfortunate. It shouldn't happen, and it should never have a place in our politics. Condemnation, yes. People selectively condemn it. People selectively condemn it. But if you selectively condemn it, then you are really not condemning it. People selectively condemn it, and they justify that, yes, violence is wrong. Yes, violence is wrong. But if violence is wrong and you are making excuses for the violence, then you don't mean to say that violence is wrong. So the attack on Har Kumsin and all the people, wrong. The attack on the organizer or deputy organizer, the Lloyd gentleman, was wrong. My hope is that the security agencies, as they have started, even though I think it's slow and late, will get to the bottom of it, and people who were caught, in the act, and people who were fomenting the trouble should be dealt with in accord with law. Nobody should be spared on both sides. I will not say it's NDC people who orchestrate, MPP. There were things on the ground. So the police should identify all of those people and then punish them. That is the only way we can make progress. Of course, if the police punish them, and a lot of them we have seen on the screen, on TV, appear to be the aggressors going after the MPP people, then it will mean that the NDC is punishing its own. That is the best thing Mahama can do for its people, that under his regime, he stopped political, violence, so that everybody knows that this is the legacy, one of the legacies, he would have left. One thing he said in opposition was that he prosecuted his own. Abu Ghapel, he prosecuted his own. He was eventually jailed, and that Akufo-Addo had never done that for blah blah blah. So it was something that boosted his campaign and his anti-corruption, accolade, at least. If he's able to punish his own, it will also be some legacy that he may refer to later, or people in the NDC may use later to say that even in our time, when our people did it and they were caught, we punished them. We don't want to see the things we saw years ago in Ashanti region, where the thugs and hoodlums attacked the courts. And they were just giving a slap on the wrist. And they were promised that, no, we'll find a way of letting you go. We don't like that. That is why.
But isn't that where we've gotten to?
Yes,
Salah? We've
but
never seen anybody properly punished for this.
But the promise is that we are resetting. Resetting doesn't mean everything will be smooth. Resetting means things like this will happen, but your response to it will make the people know whether indeed
it's
we are
resetting or not.
And I have every confidence that, the right things will be done. I'll be disappointed if the right things are not done.
Right. Let me bring in Sammy. Resetting will correct the wrongs. We will throw away violence from our elections and all that. Tomorrow, Friday, will be exactly 1 week we saw the bad things we saw on TV. Yet, no proper arrests have been made. At least publicly, we don't know about that. The resetting and changing or moving violence from our politics, are we sure we can get it done?
We can get it done, but it will take a long while for us to get it done. We need some bit of national reorientation and let people know that elections is not about violence. At least today we've seen the police issue a statement announcing that they're reviewing the videos, they've taken statements, they've had leads that may lead to some arrests. So in the subsequent days or in the coming days, we'll see the police make some arrests. They've spoken to Hawa Kumsin. Hawa Kumsin has written her formal statement, and she'll be a key witness in the identification of the individuals who assaulted her on that day. So at least the statement from the police is a bit assuring that at least they've made ways, and then identified certain individuals and watched the videos and reviewed the videos and can make some arrests in the coming days. That is very assuring. But for a total ban on election violence in Ghana, as I mentioned, it will take a while. We were in this country where a whole commission of inquiry was set up on Ayawaso West Wagon. No one was punished for it. We never saw publicly or heard publicly that this particular individual or group of people have been held liable for the atrocities that happened at Ayawaso West Wagon. And so we are still where we are. And as Selo mentioned, we've seen several violence in by-elections or rerun. You mentioned Talensi some years back, Chepone, a whole lot. So it has become more or less for the political parties to be a norm that whoever is in power determines the strength of violence that happens under your regime, which really is not the best for a country like Ghana, which is practicing so-called democracy. I've always questioned the practice of democracy in Ghana. But then, if we are just rerunning election in 19 polling stations, we can see what is happening. The fear for many is what will happen in Akwetia.
Exactly.
The fear for many, because you already hear MPP, persons or supporters announce that Akwetia is their backyard and that they will be prepared for anything that happens. And Akwetia is going to be a major by-election. It's not just going to be a rerun, it's a major by-election. A seat held by the MPP, and so they may want to do everything possible within their power to retain that seat. And how will they do that? There will be a little bit of violence. I told a few colleagues in the newsroom, and I told Fred Jamana on Situation Room that last week Friday that I am foreseeing violence in Ablekuma North because the tensions there were too high. There was too much tension there because the two candidates were all claiming victory, and the two political parties were all claiming victory. And so for everyone, I was expecting the police or the intelligence agencies to pick up intelligence and know that such a thing will happen. And the police station, that whole thing happened, is the same police station that recorded the violence in the 2024 election. It was the same police station that had some pink sheets there, got bent in 2024. And so if you are deploying, you expect to deploy more of your officers in there to forestall anything. But here we are again, back to the same discussion about political
but
violence.
The Interior Minister on Monday assured that Akwetia won't be violent. They are putting in place everything. You're not convinced with this assurances?
I am not convinced, Vivian, because the two political parties will always go into an election with their own internal security. They always have their boys following them, left, right, center, and we don't know who commands these boys. We don't know who commands them. But then they always make their own arrangement. When you speak to them, they'll tell you that if the police are not provided the security we want, we'll provide our own security. And so if these parties bring their own security forces, what do you expect? We saw the video in Ablekuma North where people were beaten, the police were standing there, unconcerned. If that happens in Akwetia, it will be bloodshed than what we saw in Ablekuma North. And it's the fear of many people. Many people are very much afraid that if care is not taken, we may record serious incident in Akwetia than what we recorded just in 19 police station. And we expect the police agencies to pick up intelligence ahead of even the seat being declared vacant. We expect the police service and other intelligence agencies to go on the ground. In every constituency, there are flashpoints.
Yeah.
There are areas we consider flashpoints. Send your men there, speak to the people, hear what the people are seeing on the ground. In that way, you are, as we always say, you are step 2 plans 4 ahead of these individuals who may want to cause mayhem in this election. But, well, we are back again. We see what happens.
Well,
may God protect all of us.
We are hoping we won't see any violence in Akwetia.
You see, it's painful that we keep going back to the same thing. The people calling for heads now, a while ago, were the guys in power, and did nothing about the situation. Really, did nothing really about the situation. The scars of Ayawaso West Wogon and the cry from the victims of Ayawaso West Wogon, arguably, are what people argue are fueling the political vendetta and politics of retaliation in this sense, because they make reference to Ayawaso. And you see, we had a good opportunity in Ayawaso West Wogon to bring this situation to a close totally. Ayawaso West Wogon was seen generally as state-sponsored terrorism against political opponents of the ruling party.
Yes.
So we saw for the first time, certain persons dressed in some security thing with masks, etc., wielding guns, etc., in a polling station. For what? It's a civil election. Why should these armed men on pickups and things jumping up and down with guns? What were they doing there? And a sitting member of parliament, Sam George, was assaulted by one of these people. A gentleman who plays football, was hurt. I understand he's still not fully recovered. And nothing, absolutely nothing was done about this. People are talking about apology. Apology from who to who? When it was your time, did you do that? So, so the people calling for it now perhaps do not have the moral, authority to do so. But you see, it is not about those people. It's about the people of Ghana.
Yeah.
So for the sake of the people of Ghana, I pray that the right things are done so that once and for all, we can punish these things, and after a period, we will now put these things behind us. That is the only way we can make progress. The police, the least said about them in this election, the better. I think they dropped the ball. The intelligence, I don't know whether it was intelligence failure, I don't know whether it was lack of adequate preparation. They just dropped the ball. They were zero as far as anticipating the issues and containing them was concerned. They came to the party quite late. And if somebody was, if somebody or somebody was going to be killed, that person could have been killed. The people were just breezing through them. They were not prepared, or they were scared. But that was dangerous. The guys had no even fear of the police. They had no fear of the police. And for us, that is a very dangerous place to be as a country. The police must put their acts together. They must do better. They must do better.
Well, what were you guys expecting of the police that day? For example, if we take that location where the West happened, they were at the gates, and the gentlemen were about 8 or 10 or so, breached the security, entered, and they formed a barricade at a point to protect our and the other lady.
And you are the last resort. You are the last resort of protection. And so, if you allow these gentlemen to walk through you, then where is the protection then? And you were brought there to protect lives and properties. And so if these gentlemen can just walk past you, the police, then you are failed at your job. The more reason why you were there in the first place, you are failed. So there's no need for you to even be there. Because you're brought in to provide protection, and you form a barricade, and yet people are able to walk past
But
you.
the people are more than you.
Oh,
And
but then you can come for me and more than. There were no police officers standing outside. And Vivian, from the video that we saw, you could see that the how will I put it? They gathered in a group.
Yes.
And you could see them coming.
Coming.
At least
At a full
the police saw them coming. So others who have been stationed at other places could have joined their colleagues who have formed the barricade, or that was in the instruction.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know the marching orders
But-
they
but-
received and how to react to certain things.
But if
like
the
that.
last sort of protection is not protecting us, then what is the protection again? Only God can
So
protect us. then.
physically, you expected more from
Yes, yes.
They failed on the intelligence bits. I mean, the police, as we know them, if they want to do their job, they'll do it. These things, we are not security people. I mean, at least I am not. But we could anticipate that a thing like this will happen. The police, they have sources, etc. within even the two parties. They should have picked up signals that these guys are being mobilized to do ABC, and these are the persons of interest, or these are the targets. You don't be at the police, or don't be at Ablekuma on this day. Prevent them from going to those places.
Okay.
You know, if you and it wouldn't be strange to do. Prevent people whose presence will create trouble from going to those places. In any case, they were not there to exercise their franchise. They were not there to vote. They were just there to offer support. So if you prevented, for example, if they had prevented a few people from going to Ablekuma, we will not be here discussing this, because the people came for specific people.
Okay.
And the police ought to have known that.
All right. This is what the papers are saying. I'm Vivian Lokko. I'm here with Selma Dono as well as Sami Wiafe. We are looking at the big stories for the week. We'll move to the scrapping of fuel allowances for government officials. We'll take some reactions from that development. First, from the Member of Parliament for Ukapim North, the Honourable Samuel Ewuku.
Clearly, if you ask me, I think there are more questions to be asked with this particular directive. I just see it as populist. It's just public gimmick and a clear case of PR and settings. That's what I would say. If they really and actually want to be seen that they are biting the bullet and really scrapping this fuel allowance, I say two things: the fuel depot at the Castle Osu and the fuel depot at Jubilee House. Once you close down these two, then, because these are the places that the government appointees go for the fuel. So nobody should come and play with our mind. I said, close down these fuel depot. And then number two, how much were we spending on this fuel allowance? Once we get to know, then at the end of the year, we can say that, okay, we've made savings of 1 Ghana cedi or 10 billion cedis or 100 million cedis. But without that, they're just playing on our mind. And who is a political appointee? There must be definition. Every CEO, mind you, the CEOs have contracts also different from that of ministers. I've been a CEO before. Your entitlement includes fuel allowance. They don't take that fuel allowance or fuel coupons or fuel from Castle Osu or Jubilee. It is embedded in the organization's cost of running the machinery. So please, we've had enough settings. We need clarity on these matters.
So that's the Member of Parliament for Ukapim North, the Honourable Sami Ewuku. Let me start with you, Sami. Your namesake believes that this is a waste of time. We need better details around this, and it will amount to nothing.
Well, the issuance of the fuel coupons, normally they are gold coupons given to some public, officials, and it normally comes with a package of appointments. When you're appointed, there are these allocations, given to you. But not every appointment comes with these fuel coupons. So I know that for persons at the Jubilee House and certain, I think, ministers of state, there's a depot within the Jubilee House and the Castle Annex where you draw fuel. I don't know if that is part of the directive. That I don't know. There are also some CEOs of state-run institutions whose own are not coupons, but it is part of the budget of the organization. And so the budget of the organization that every week
You get this
the
allocation.
CEO is given this allocation of liters, sometimes 50 liters a week or more. And so there's a specific fuel station that the vehicle will go for those, fuel to be given to, the CEO or the director general, whoever runs. And then monthly they pay these OMCs or these fuel companies. So for the coupons, I think these are given to not so senior public officials. They are the lighter ones, for want of a better word, lighter public officials who are giving these coupons. And so if many people ask questions that this may not really make any impact, I sort of want to agree with them. Because the ones that cost the state the most is the pump at the Jubilee House and the castle. I've been presidential correspondent before, so I know, where these...
There are calls that then that should be shut down.
That should be shut down. If really, yes. If really. Because even almost every day, you see these vehicles moving there. The V8 moving there, go and fill their tanks and the rest. I've seen quite a number of them. So just a fuel coupon may not do the trick. It may not. The directive should go to where they draw more of the fuel, which is the Jubilee House and the Castle Annex, where there's the designated depot for drawing fuel, and it's provided by, I think, GOAL every week or so for these appointees to take fuel for. If the president directive goes there, rather, we may save the country more than just the mere fuel coupon, because some of these lighter managers are giving like 1,000 cedis a week or 2,000 cedis a month or so
for the allowances.
And so, which really doesn't make any.
But do we know how much the country will save with the scrapping of the allowances?
That I do not know. That I do not know, and we are hoping that the government says. Aisha Mima said that for like the next 3 months, when this ban is in force, then they'll be able to quantify how much.
But they should have known before going out to know how much it's costing the nation and then want to scrap it.
Well, it could be, but it also comes on the back of the decision to scrap DSTV subscription. As to how much it was costing the states, we didn't know about that. So this one will follow. I'm sure in the fullness of time they may be able to give us details on how much the state is paying for these fuel coupons. But then it doesn't really make any impact. It doesn't really make impact. It doesn't.
Tell do you agree that this is a waste of our time?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a waste of our time per se. I think it is baby steps. It's towards somewhere. If even one city is saved, I mean that's some money saved, and I think we can build upon that. What we're asking for is further and better particulars. How much was it? How much do we hope to save in this, etc. And of course, if it's an official trip, you don't expect me to fuel my official trip. So I think that's where the nuances come in. So a lot of them use government vehicles, and a lot of the things they do, they may classify them as official. Wow. So we need to understand what the distinction is, because if I'm to travel or go somewhere and it's official, I will have to draw fuel from somewhere, and it surely will not come from my pocket. It must come from the state. And there are a lot of state cars, there are a lot of government vehicles that do a lot of government business. So if you say they should shut down the fuel depot at the castle or at the Jubilee House, no, it's not a practical thing to say, because there are fleets of vehicles, the president's convoy, there are a lot of them. And you don't expect the president to be buying fuel from his pocket. The ministers, when they are on official duty, to be buying fuel from their pocket. Perhaps, maybe, what should have been said, or what could have been said was, they were cutting it by a certain percentage. The fuel allowance you're giving or the fuel you draw, we are cutting it by a certain percentage. And then you try and enforce it. So that if you're getting 10 gallons a week, maybe we are cutting it to 8 or 5 or something. So that is like we can easily monitor that and know. But if the fuel was given for private purposes, and the question is, in the past, or do we give fuel for private purposes? If that is it, then it should be scrapped. But would it
be easy to delink the private from the official? Like a minister, for example.
Yeah. So that's where the situation is. Yeah. A minister drives perhaps a state car.
Yeah.
and he does various things. He goes to various places, various functions. A function you may classify as unofficial, maybe official. Maybe he's meeting people. Not on a working day, but that is work. So it's a very difficult thing to do. So we will need to drill down to the nuances. So it's not an easy thing to say maybe it's a waste of time or it is a very good thing. But what I would say is that it's like there are baby steps. It's towards something. And in governance, the optics matter. And they talk about tightening your belt. My suspicion is that because this one city fuel thing was coming, it was important to signal that it is not just on the public and that the appointees, are also feeling the pinch. So it adds to something that appointees are not enjoying as they used to, which means that they are also sacrificing. They are also feeling the pinch. So when we are asking you to tighten your belt, we are also doing same. And this is evidence of that. I think in John Mohammed's first term, there was something he did about taking 10% of the salaries of appointees. And they said they were channeling that into building Chiefs compound. That's laudable. That's something perhaps you can see. But I've not followed it to see how many were built. I think some numbers were thrown out. But that's tangible to see. So we need to see things like this.
But the reality of all these, cut down this, don't use this, don't that, are we not pushing these appointees too much to the wall? Your salaries a bit taken from, now your fuel is being taken. We don't know next what will be taken. So all this is cut down.
It's a very legitimate concern in a society where people's values and ethics are very low. I mean, that could push them to do other things to make up. Because in Ghana, a lot of people think that public office is a place to make money. And that's what the society even expects. So if you are appointed to a place where they think there's nothing much there, people say, why? About that place, what is there? There's work there. That's why you are going there. It's work. You have to go and work. But you see, the society's expectation itself is a problem. If you have a friend who is an appointee, one of the things you easily ask for is, Charlie, give me fuel coupons. Because the society has been so corrupted, or it's a very difficult thing. And the appointees come from amongst us. And they have to meet certain expectations. The expectations we have of them. If your friend is a minister or an appointee and he keeps behaving the same way he was behaving in terms of his expenses, etc., you'll be shocked. You'll be unhappy with him. So there's that pressure from society. So in dealing with the top, we must also look at the broader factors. The society itself must repent. It will be unfair to lay the burden solely on the people. In any case, they came from us. We have to repent ourselves. When we repent and we lower our expectation in terms of the goodies we get from politicians, I think we'll be better. It cuts both ways. They also promise it, and so when they come, we expect them to do it. And it keeps ballooning the cost of running government, the cost of governance, etc. It is a real problem we must find solution to sometime.
It also boils down to the change in lifestyle of these appointees immediately appointed. Because someone who was just working on the street gets an appointment, his clothing changes, he's now driving, big cars, V8s and Land Cruiser and the rest. And so the perception is that, why he? Fine, let's also take our share from it. But it comes with the office. So you can't appoint someone as, let's say, Minister of Education, and you expect the person to still be taking public transport or all those things. You give the person a V8, and maybe if Ghanaians see a V8, you know that hey, there's a rich man, in there. Why he?
So it's what the papers are saying. I'm here with Zelo Madono as well as Sami. I am Vivian Lokko. When we come back, we'll look at other stories that made headlines this week. Please stay with us.
I run because I believe I'm born to win.
Register now for the ABSA Black Star Marathon, because your story matters.
No matter how far you run away, you always come back to where you started. Tortured, Mutilated, fingers cut off.
I can lend you the money. My boss believes in giving players another chance.
You don't know what to do if you don't have the money to pay back. Come listen to me.
Sir, it's done.
Good. 1 week. That is all you got to pay up.
You've been gambling.
Unfortunately, we're still chasing shadows. He's clearing the board to make way for something bigger.
How could you do this to us, God?
Who's there?
I gotta fix this.
Welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. I'm Vivian Lokko here with Samiri Afi as well as Stella Adonu. We're looking at the big stories for the week. We're looking at the different angles around key developments for the week. We'll move to illegal mining because there have been quite a number of developments around that. First of all, we've had some party officials being fingered with being involved in illegal mining. Let's take the custodian, for example. They say NDC guru soldiers cited in alleged galamsey deals. If you look at the informer, they say punish political galamsey kingpins, coalition tells government. If you move to Daily Guide, they say top NDC officials, military officers fingered in illegal galamsey task force. If you come to Graphic Online, for example, they say defense minister has rewarded a soldier who rejected galamsey bribes. So some good news over there. When you move across some sad news to City Newsroom, they reported that 4 people were dead and 20 trapped in a galamsey pit collapse at Achim Winchi. But the president has been speaking on illegal mining this week, vowing to ensure that that is stopped. Let's hear what he's been saying.
But we are alarmed by the environmental destruction that is reported across Awaso, Dadieso, and Sefia and Rianso, mainly due to illegal mining. I must be honest, this is a national emergency. The National Task Force will continue its efforts to halt illegal mining in our forest reserves and on our water bodies. I've also noted the activities of illegal anti-galamsey task forces that go around extorting money from legitimate small-scale mining companies. I've requested that the authorities arrest and prosecute any individuals involved in this illegal anti-galamsey activity. In addition, we are establishing a forward operating base of the Ghana Armed Forces in Ponikrum, as requested by Nananum, to respond swiftly to security threats and border-related crimes. Peace is a precondition for development.
So it appears with galamsey, officials say the right things all the time, keep reassuring us, but still we are at a standstill in stopping this menace. Samir, let me start with you. Some top officials of the NDC named, Mahama has been saying the right things around it, but yet on the ground, it appears we are getting some pushback and not making much inroads.
Galamsey. I don't remember. I'm not sure we'll ever end our conversation when it comes to galamsey. So the leaders speak all the time, from Akufo-Addo, former president, to John Mahama. They talk all the nice things they want to say, but yet the job is still day ground, as they want to call it. People are still working. The environment is being destroyed, you know, and yet little action is seen. We saw Operation Hot. We saw Operation Vanguard. Did they achieve any success? The verdict is out there. Now we've seen the inauguration of the blue guards. Yeah. A new anti-galamsey, committee has been forced. You know, any success, time will tell. I've heard Dr. Tony Edu say that 6 months is too long a time for President Mahama to stop galamsey, and that he's even advising too short. No, I mean too long a time. Too long.
He believes within
this 6 months he should have dealt with galamsey, and he believes that we should just deploy 1,060 soldiers into our forest, and then the Galamsey activities will end. But then I want to ask him that we deployed hundreds of these officers years ago. We are still deploying them. Has anything changed? Nothing. And so for me, I've always said, and I continue to say that, Vivian, we have lost the fight against Galamsey. We have lost it. And the only way we can win back the fight is to go ahead with the shoot to kill policy. That is the only way we can win the fight against Galamsey. A lot of people disagree with me when I make this statement, but I'm only asking that let's just try it for a month or two, and let's come back and see the success we record when it comes to the fight against Galamsey. Because the people who are involved in Galamsey do not think about us, so we shouldn't also think about them. They want to kill us, so we kill them first. It's written in the Bible.
Well, wouldn't it come with excesses? If you look at the task force that is even currently in place, there are already issues. The miners, some are saying that they are going to the wrong places, they are legal places. So wouldn't that come with
I agree. When you are implementing a policy for the first time, within the few days or weeks, you get pushbacks. But when you settle fully, you will succeed. These Galamseyers have the most sophisticated guns you can ever think of. Even rebels, you don't have those guns. I'm sure the only thing they don't have is nuclear bombs. That's the only thing they don't have. But you see them with the pump action, the AKs, the sidearms. You have no idea the kind of ammunition they have in the forest. So they are prepared to kill. Because anyone who has a gun has two ulterior motives: to protect him or herself and to kill anybody who tries to kill me. And so they go there prepared. So let's send our men. We have the special force. They can do a clean operation. Go into these. The Forestry Commission has a data of where mining takes place a lot in this forest reserve. Fly these your officers in your military choppers.
You know, it's easy to say.
Vivian, I've had the opportunity to fly with the former Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Benito Osubio, in a chopper. We went to one of the forests in the western region. Yeah. And you could see them whilst in the chopper, you could see them engaging in the act. And they don't care. You could see them. And so if the militaries will fly similar, see them, guns a few men down, the next day, a similar operation, let's give ourselves only 2 weeks. These young men will not go to the forest again. Then the trade is over, the business is over, and then we claim our forest. Because what is happening, I've been to Galamsey sites, and I've seen it. I've seen an aerial shot. And it's serious. Yeah. It's serious. And the Ghana Water Company tells us that if care is not taken, we may import water to drink. Yeah. Even those of us here in this country, how many of us have access to good water? How many of us has access to water to drink? And it will be some years to go where we have to import. And already, this Galamsey activity is having effect on cocoa farmers in Ivory Coast. I've heard President Ouattara complain to President Akufo-Addo years ago that Galamsey activities in Ghana is affecting them in Ivory Coast. Because I think one river, passes through there. And we must deal with this issue before it gets out of hand. Now, in this country, every part of this country, there's Galamsey, with the exception of Accra and I think Volta region. I think every region in this country has Galamsey going on. So we will sit down and wait for the entire country to be Galamsey. Oh, God protect us.
Well, I think it's political and security complicity. If we want to solve it, we'll solve it. I don't even think that the issue is about flying a chopper to identify the people. We know that where the thing is happening. We know where it is happening. They don't even hide it. It's not like it's a secret or they know where it is. The people in the communities know where they are. There were blue guards, water guards. I mean, we know where they are. It is just the political will to do it, and the security people being, emboldened, encouraged to go after the people. That's it, and do it in such a way that the miners or the illegal miners cannot influence the security people. Change them every now and then, bring new people, put them there, do that, and let them do the job. So, for example, is it not strange that we were talking about Akonta Mine and Wuntumi and all those people, and regime has changed, and then the personnel have changed. And then I'm talking about Yamin and Abanga allegedly involved in this. It is the political class, the complicity of the political class in this. If you want to stop something, you stop it.
Yeah.
So the will to stop it is where the problem is, because people have made money from it in the past. So perhaps people also want to make some money from it. It is not a, it is, if you want to stop it, you stop it. But there are other factors to consider. But excavators, for example, someone bought the excavator, someone registered the excavator, and in registering these things, there are details you provide. So I would say that we cannot go after the owners of these heavy machinery. They are expensive. So if you're able to seize them, you go after them, you know, after a while, it will stop. So it is a lot of political will for me, and empowering the security people to do the right thing. And if they are found culpable, you deal with them. You know, one security officer, you know, refuses bribe, and we are excited. That shows you how we have sunk as a people. Well, were we expecting the security man to take the bribe? Was that our expectation? So it tells you how much we have sunk. A security man, it's just like maybe your coin fell down, I gave it to you. You don't have to praise me for it. It is how we should be. That's what I'm saying. The moral, the moral of the society.
We've lost our moral,
that is the problem, and we must find our way. How did we lose it? And you see, enforcement of the law largely will bring that. Whilst you are doing other soft things, one of the importance of the criminal justice system is deterrence. Not that some people in some countries don't want to do bad things, but they know that if they do it, there are consequences, and there will be no fear or favor. You will be dealt with no matter who you are. You can't call somebody that will call this person for me. This person will call this person, will call this chief, will call this pastor. No, that it will happen. So you know that if you do it, it will happen. So you don't do it. That's where we must start from, and rebuild our value system. All these problems we are having, it's as a result of a broken value system of the country. And the painful part of it is that the younger generation are even getting worse. Young people in GSS, SS, the universities after university, you know, it's disappointing and it is worrying. The quest for quick money. The system does not have any way of questioning wealth. So you are just walking about. You get into office or you get somewhere quickly. Your life is changed overnight, and there's nothing wrong with your life changing, but your wealth cannot be traced. It cannot be explained.
Wow.
And that is a problem. Your wealth should be able. We should be able to explain it, or when you are called upon, we should be able to explain it. And we saw in this country young girls all over the place on social media, etc. Doing this, they do business. You can start with 200 cedis, 300 cedis, this, only to realize that they were involved in scams and were jailed and have served jail terms. You know, but the damage they are done to the younger girls, only God knows. Some of them it's irretrievable, but they were not doing the right things, and they were lying to us. It's a serious matter. It's a very serious. So it is not. It's a value system problem. We want quick things, and society, you know, idolizes wealth. We don't care where it is from. So a young person, you get what I'm saying, this is, you know, but we must probe it.
Failure is an offer.
Proper societies care about how their people make money, and we are concerned. We pretend to be concerned about illicit inflows into our politics. We are not concerned. We are actually happy about it. You know, it's a terrible thing. So this Galamsey thing, it is more than just Galamsey. We talked about repealing the LI. Where is that discussion? Where is that discussion? You know, so I mean,
like you said, I mean, there's a lot that goes around all these discussions, but there must be something more than that. If
it's the pressure of society.
If government officials, whether in opposition, make, strong statements to change the status quo, get in there, and it's difficult to do.
Because
At least
they are
that's
involved themselves.
what it appears.
Because they are involved themselves, so they can't change it. You don't stop the thing that feeds you. You don't, because they are involved themselves. If this is bringing me income, you expect me to stop it? Yeah. No. There's an account proverb that you... Oh, I forgot about I remember let you know. If you are deeply involved in something that fetches you income, it brings you, money, you don't stop that thing. You don't end it. You rather encourage others to join you to make more money from it because the political class is involved. They are involved. We've heard several allegations of how these political, class people are involved in Ghana. We say, yet nobody. Professor Frimpong Boateng gave us a tall list of people who are involved in Ghana. We say, what has happened to them? Now, Attorney General says 2 people within his party are involved. Let's see how it goes. Now, they say Lokko should investigate them. We are here. We are waiting. We will see what happens.
I think it's actually commendable that the AG has...
Oh, yeah, it is. It is.
Yes. And I think, so you see, the problem with society is also the cynicism, because we cannot believe people. So we expect only one outcome, okay? That the people must be found culpable. So the people are not found culpable, then it's because, they are their people. That's why they declare them.
Yeah.
So that's also a problem. Yeah. Because the people have a right to also explain themselves and provide evidence, to the contrary. But if that happens, we say, we said it. They've been cleared, like it happened before. Yeah. So it's a difficult place for society, and it's unfortunate we've gotten here. Let's try and work our way around and get back to the proper place.
All right,
from
gentlemen.
the look of things, it's not like we are doing very well with the fight.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. Our time is up. Salam Adono and Samiri Afi. I am Vivian Lokko. Thank you too for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.